What's going on, folks? VTC back here with another box of 2025 Panini Prism NASCAR. So we got 144 cards. We got 12 packs, 12 cards per pack, and some of the highlights from the set. So what we're looking for in this hobby box, right? 3 autographs, 22 parallels, and then a total of 12 inserts or insert parallels. Now there is a chance, as maybe some of you saw in our last video, we did hit the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Color Blast, which is a case hit, which these days we know doesn't mean too terribly much. But some of the other things included here, we have drivers, which driver photos, pretty obvious, right? And then rides, throwbacks, which are designed based on the 2016 Panini Prism NASCAR set. We got autographs from sets like Legendary Signatures, Cup Champion Signatures. We also have Iconic, which looks like there's some dual autographs, which are pretty sweet. We're also in the inserts looking for Pot of Gold, Groovy, Talisman. So yeah, we are about to rip into this bad boy and see how we do. So while I do that, some of the stuff we're looking for are, oldies but goodies, like the blue ice, green ice, red, white sparkle. We got Pulsars numbered at $2.99, red prisms at $2.49, blue at $1.99, red Pulsar to $1.99. I don't want to read the whole thing down, but the green scopes, right, we're looking down at of $1.49. Checkered flags, which we had a Jeff Gordon on the last box. Those are of $75. We got like Carolina Blue of $49, which I think looked pretty good. Into the Mojo, which we did hit one out of the last box, of $25. And I think in terms of sheer numbering, that's the best one we got, was of $25. But we did pull an of $49 rookie auto of Corey Day on the sensational signature. So that was pretty sweet. All right, well, here we go. Let's get into it. Shove that out of the way and get into this first pack. So I opened the first box the other day, and I gotta say I was pretty happy overall. Like, only have, I think, one card where we found surface issues. Overall, things look really clean, and I think that Panini design we all expect to see. But I think it looks, again, just classic, clean, what you would expect from Prism. So go through these. Chase Elliott, Ty Dillon, got Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, which we got a lot of Ross Chastains. I actually got 2 of the Pulsars in one box for him. So we got Cole Custer, and that's going to be on $2.49. All right. And our first auto, Jeremy Clements on the sensational signatures. Chase Elliott on the Talisman. And we're going to close out with Kurt Busch and Kyle Larson. All right. So, again, 12 packs to get through here. So we're going to see if this box beats our last box. So I think, so we looked at the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Color Blast, and it looks like, based on centering and putting it under the loop and everything, that has a good chance at a 10, so we're going to go to send it in. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Are you guys into grading color bursts, even though it's considered a case hit? I mean, he is a legend, right? So Austin Hold My Beers rookie card. But what do y'all think on this whole grading thing? I know there's a lot of controversy with PSA buying up Beckett and SGC, or say collectors, but I'm gonna say PSA. Is there really a problem with it? I think the problem for me is, one, it starts to create a monopoly, but you can argue that when you're as large as PSA is and have that much market capitalization, that when you're buying up these smaller ones, I mean, are you really making a dent and really expanding your footprint? But I would argue, yeah, because now you're starting to put one standard. They can say, it's like Beckett's getting new labels and they're going to keep the subgrades, and all that's great, but it's all under the collector's umbrella. So, to me, it's got the makings of a monopoly. What I don't like right now are the wait times on PSA. Like I've mentioned in other videos, I mean, we've got 100 plus cars out at PSA. something like 60 out at CGC right now, and it's just been it's been rough trying to get these things going. Tyler Reddick base, and here we go, Austin Dillon. It's a good looking card, and that's going to be to $199. So, all right, and followed up with a Jamie McMurray. All right, there we go, and that's going to $99. So on the purple prism, all right, there's our pot of gold insert. And we're going to close out with Ty Gibbs. All right. But yeah, so, you know, we are mainly in the business. We're not breakers at all. Like, no, you know, not going to throw shade at breakers or anybody for doing business the way they do business. It's not my business. But, you know, we largely buy raw. If I can get this thing open while I'm talking to y'all. Largely buy raw and then flip. So, all right, I'm going to put him aside because he's giving me problems right now. Largely we buy raw, send a PSA or CGC, and then you know, we auction them off or do it, you know, buy it now listing. And that's more of our style. You know, I started ripping sealed products largely for content, but also we do complete your sets listings on eBay. You know, we want to have like affordable cards for people to get into the hobby and collect the dudes they like, from the teams they like, whatever it may be. Like, not everything should be, you know, it shouldn't be a barrier just to get into the hobby and buy some cards and have a good time, you know. So, all right, we got Christian X. I'm gonna mess that up, maybe X. I don't know, on the Pulsar. That's $2.99. Followed up with the Brennan Poole on the silver prism, and then Kyle Petty on the groovy insert, not numbered, but it's a good looking insert. Got Kyle Larson. And finish off with Noah Gragson. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, you know, it shouldn't be impossible to get in the hobby and just, you know, I mean, folks, like if you're looking for a value proposition here and opening something, I don't really advocate unless you legitimately have the money. Like, do what you want. It's not my business. But for people that are just getting in, maybe, or people that are wondering, is it worth opening sealed product? Generally, no. This set, like this hobby box, 144 cards for about $132. To me, and if you're talking hobby boxes, is about the best you're going to get on cost per card. And I know it's more of a niche market than, you know, football, basketball, baseball. All right, there we go. Denny Hamlin. All right. I'm a big fan. I want the man to win the championship. But, you know, he's always up there, even at his age, I think. And I say at his age, which is like about my age. Corey Haim on the silver prism. But, you know, it just shouldn't be impossible, right, to get into doing something you like. So come check us out on eBay, VTC_cards. You may see it as VTC_cards and toys, which is cool because back in the day, I mean, we've been into collectibles, so we also have some comic books and stuff. But we are way heavy on cards in a good way. That's where we wanted to be. We kind of slowed down after we did the toy stuff for a number of years. We didn't really, you know, do a lot of social media posts or anything, but we've been low-key selling and low-key collecting, and decided, you know what, it's probably time to get back on YouTube. We were never really big on it in terms of doing it. We never got big, period, doing it, but we did well on sales and all that. You know, we just, you know, ultimately we're looking to be fair to people, give people a way in, and make some money doing it, right? I mean, that's the point of a business. Jeff Gordon on the red prism. And we got Chase Briscoe, howdy now, and that's going to take us to 149. That's pretty sick. And my man Kyle Larson. That's a good looking talisman right there. We are going to sleeve him up, and that is to 49. So typically what I do is before I put these things into a sleeve, I'll just wipe them down a bit. You know, I don't want anything messing up the surface when I put them into a sleeve. Somebody like Kyle Larson, like some of these, I may send for grading. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just, I know everybody's got their opinion on what should or should not be graded. I mean, I've graded some base cards that are for my PC that are just, you know, I know they're not going to, Austin Hold My Beer's rookie, all right. I know they're not going to be great, but you know what, it's for me. So grade what you love. Just keep in mind, like, you know, if you're trying to make money doing it, definitely be selective. Go check the comps, right? What are PSA 10 selling for? And make sure it's worth it, guys. I mean, you know, I would say, you know, we got into grading pretty heavy here over the past probably 2 years. And even when you think you've got a 10, and under the scope and all the edges and all the centering, it looks great. Surprise, you know, you get a 9, right? So I would say definitely, you know, maybe we'll do a video on the way that we do cards. We just put a video out on a 21 card order we got back from PSA. We had a 71% gem rate. That's not necessarily new for us, getting high gem rates on bulk orders. We do scrutinize cards, but we still miss, obviously. Like, you know, we're not going to be perfect in our assessment. All right, and we got Christian Rose. It's our second auto, right? So we should have one more. And Denny on the Pulsar. And looks like Jesse Love on the purple. But yeah, just, you know, make sure you do your research. If you're trying to do it for money, you know, to flip and stuff, you know, I'll buy multiples of a card off eBay raw, because I anticipate, you know, if I buy 10, I'll be lucky if I believe 3 or 4 of them are going to be, you know, have a real chance at getting a 10. But, you know, if you're doing it for what you love, like if you love Michael Jordans, I've graded some, you know, mid-90s, early 90s Jordans that, I mean, I just love Jordan, man. So I'm going to grade them for me. The way I look at it for my PC is I'm kind of encapsulating history, if you will. You know, so that's why I grade some cards that people would definitely balk at, right? Be like, that's a worthless card. I know, but it's for me, and I enjoy it. But yeah, check it. You know, make sure you get a good centering tool. You know, the loop we got, it's lit, and got it off of Amazon for like, I don't know, 20 bucks maybe. AJ Allmendinger, alrighty. Got a Gio Ruggiero rookie on the Prism, or excuse me, silver Prism. You know, and yeah, I think we'll probably do a video on like how we decide what to send, what not to send. Not that there's anything, you know, particularly special or anything, but I have seen some folks who are sending 30 and 40 cards to PSA, and on their reveal, they're surprised that it's getting a 9 when I can see on the screen, you know, how far off the centering is. It makes me wonder if they're using a centering tool at all. You know, and it's not just 1 or 2 cards in there. I mean, it was like, dude sent like 30 cards, and it's something like a 20% gem rate. And a lot of it, from what I could see, was just centering. So it leads me to believe he wasn't really using a centering tool, or perhaps it's a bad centering tool. So just, yeah, do your due diligence if you're going to do it. And as they say, be smart with your money. AJ Allmendinger now on the Pulsar. Hey, if you hear my dog in the background, I apologize. I think I've got a FedEx man here. But here we go. Bubba Wallace on the checker flag Prism. And that's going to be of 75. So for those of you out there, yeah, this would be one that I would consider grading. I'll look at the comps, do my homework a little bit. But I like Bubba Wallace overall. Very good driver, I believe. And yeah, so I know there's Bubba Wallace fans out there. You know, I'll have to check this corner down here under the loop and see if that's just maybe a little something I can clean up with some, you know, run a little bit of painter's tape on the edge and get some little what do they call it, little strands off. And you know, that can help. You know, just be careful not to damage the card, of course. All right, getting down to, looks like 4 packs, including this one. So far, I would argue the Bubba Wallace or the Kyle Larson Talisman are probably our best ones right now. Yeah, some of these, I am having some trouble today ripping these open. All right, there we go. So yeah, all right, what do you guys think about CGC versus PSA? Like, so what I found, my experience with CGC and PSA, I've graded hundreds of cards with PSA and well over 100 now with CGC. I find that CGC is like consistent, at least what I've sent in. You know, I will say I've gotten I think only 2 or 3 pristine 10s out of the cards I've sent, and I don't know, I guess they look prettier than the other ones. All right, here we go. Alan Gustafson on the sensational signatures. That's going to be, we're going to get a number. We are, and that's going to be to 99. So not bad. There's our 3 autos though for the box. So let's see if we get any color blast or anything super cool like that in these last 3 packs. But yeah, for me, like, I get the resale. Like, if you're looking to make money, I understand PSA, people are paying more, you know, but do you guys think there comes a time when people are so fed up with PSA, the wait times, the costs, all that, that CGC is able to advance on the sports side? And I'm not saying overtake PSA by any means, but what I'm saying is, do you see a world where CGC comps consistently match PSA, or at least, you know, coming within like 5 or 10% consistently even? All right, Chase Elliott on the blue prism, and Chris Boucher, on the silver. Connor Zilic, nice on the groovy. But yeah, what do you guys think? Is there a chance for CGC? I think that at first they didn't really capitalize on some of the PSA non-sensory, especially with the increased pricing, the increased wait times, and overall kind of dissatisfaction that people have with PSA. I thought CGC could have pounced faster and harder to present itself as, you know, the new go-to for sports. They did eventually. It took a few weeks, and I do like that, you know, I saw their vice president out there doing some podcasts. They're starting to push a little bit. Some of the ads I've seen doing I know they ran a special, even though they were increasing prices, not by much. I think it was like $1 or something per card, but still, right? Margins matter. You got Ty Gibbs. All right, there we go. That's out of 175. And Joey Logano on the silver prism, my man. Always wishing him luck, man. I like that guy. Caden Honeycutt rookie, and we finish out with Caden Honeycutt rookie. All right, so we're down to our last pack, guys. But yeah, I am curious your thoughts on CGC. Can they rise to start to meet PSA consistently on the comps? I like the CGC slab. For me, I have seen consistency in their grading with the stuff I receive. Everybody's got their own scandals or errors or whatever, criticisms, right, to be had, undoubtedly. But I have started pivoting towards CGC as a company. One, I got to have stuff to sell, number one. And sometimes that means if I'm going to get 80% of, 80% of the rate with CGC that I would against PSA, like sometimes, you know, I've got to have cash flow, right? Kyle Larson, nice on the green scoop. And that is to 149. It's a good looking card though. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the groovy. But yeah, so I've been very happy with their turnaround times, with their consistency, with all of it. So let me know what you think. CGC versus PSA in the long run. I'm not saying CGC overtakes them, makes an aggressive move or anything wild, at least, you know, not in the near future. But is there a day you think when a consistently, you know, Cooper Flag CGC 10 rookie is on, you know, is bringing in the same consistently as a PSA 10? You know, I don't know. I truly don't. What I know is I like CGC. I like the return I get on PSA 10s, even though I think 9s are fine as well. I'll buy 9s all day on a lot of these cards just because of the price differential. But yeah, so here's probably like some of our better cards out of this one. Again, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson I may consider for grading. And then started doing lately, right? The thickness check. So here's our parallels, numbered and not numbered. And here is our inserts. I know this doesn't help, like you can't really, I know the thickness check isn't scientific or anything, but you know, I don't want to count all these cards out for you. I don't think you want to hear it. But then here's just our base, right? So, you know, I mean, it's 200 card set, I believe is what I read. And all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I gotta say, yeah, 200 card base set is broken into 3 segments. The drivers, the rides, and the throwbacks. Cover that a little bit at the beginning. But yeah, so that's your base set. And we got all the groovies and the, what is it? Pots of gold. Yeah, pot of gold. Talisman. So yeah, guys. So again, mainly do these, one, like, yeah, get our name out there. But 2, without all the hype of breakers and, you know, all the suspicion of being part of, I don't know, some grand conspiracy, which may or may not be true for Topps, and their preferred breakers, getting good boxes, excellent boxes. We like to show you just what normal folks get when they buy hobby boxes or blasters, whatever we're doing. So anyways, hey, we've done this with Topps Chrome. You know, we've done it with Star Wars, Hyperspace, and a number of other things. We're going to keep doing it. And these will be up on eBay within the next few days. So see something you like, hey, these are going to be, you know, $1 cards, $2 cards, whatever. So check us out. I appreciate y'all sticking around. VTC_cards on eBay. And we'll catch y'all later.